Hello, my name is Diana Ayala, and today I am going to decide to create an online video because I heard that some of you want to know how I create my curriculum design that is called My Beginning in English. So it is a pleasure to me to present my information. Yeah, as you can see, that is for A1 level. So let's continue with this incredible video. Yeah, so now what we are going to cover during this video. So the first part that we have is the context and identification. Then we have some need analysis, the instructional model that I use, objective and the profiles, as well as the study plans and assessment and resources. So don't worry that we are going to cover all this information step by step, okay? So the first part that we have is project identification. So what is this? In this part, we need to write all the important information, the necessary information of where we are working now. So for example, in my case, I am working now at RDM Language Institute that is located in Ambato. So here we have the most important part, that is the name of your project, yeah? So this is the name of a base, and this is the base in which we are going to start our curriculum design. So for example, in my case, it is A1 level. So the topic I decided, or the theme, is My Beginning in English. So based on this, I am going to start creating the next steps. So the first part is this. First, we need to identify what is the topic and the theme for our project. Then we have our names, obviously, and then the people that is involved in this curriculum design, or on all these unit, or on all these topics that we are gonna cover. Yeah. So for example, in my case, the participants are academic coordinator, language center coordinator, English teachers, and as well as students. Okay. Then we have a location and methodology. Yeah, the first part that we have is location, where we are working now, as I mentioned before. For example, in my case, that is Ambato, and I write the specific information. In this case, that is Bolivariana Avenue and El Condor Street, and the building that where we have our institution. Then we have the methodology. Here we need to include the strategies, techniques, some activities that we are going to use during this process. Okay, so for that, it is really important to take into account this question that we have here. What worked best for my students? So you know your students, so you need to identify what are the activities, what are the techniques, the strategies that work best in your context, in your institution. So with this, you can start identifying what are the activities that you can use. For example, in my case, I know that my students love to play, love to do group activities. So for that, I decide to create pair word activities. But in your case, maybe there are a game, they prefer to study or learn by games. So you can include some strategies related to that. And so this is the important part of the question that you need to ask. What works the best for your students? Then we have the justification. In this case, the justification answers this question. Why? Yeah. Why do your students learn English? So in this case, you need to identify what are the reasons why students need to learn or want to learn English. Yeah. So here I write some important information, or I write some ideas or some reasons why my students are learning English. For example, English is the most widely spoken language in the world, and it's allowed them to communicate. So when I have this justification, I identify the most important part, or the keywords that help me to identify the reasons. For example, here we have that is the spoken language. It helps to communicate, and it gives them so access to a better education. So I know that that is the reason, and I need to try to create my curriculum based on this too. Yeah. Then we have the need analysis. Yeah. Before to this curriculum design, I created a questionnaire to apply to 30 students to know what are their needs. Yeah. So as teachers, we need to identify what are the students' needs, what are their purpose, why they are learning. Yeah. For example, here I have this information. Yeah, look at this. For example, learn for education. I have 83% of students that want to learn for education. Yeah, in my case, I want to apply this curriculum in an online activity, in an online course. And so I need to know if they have access to digital resources. So I ask this question. I have a smartphone. And as you can see, we have 86% of students. So with this information, I know that I can apply some activities or can give online classes because most of the students have this necessary digital resource. Also, I want to know their level. Yeah, they consider themselves as an intermediate level students. So, for example, here we have 66%, and also what they want to improve. For example, speaking, the 60% of the students want to improve speaking. So I know that I need to apply and need to use activities that help them to achieve what they want to improve, what are their needs. And with that, we have the need analysis that also help me to identify what are the skills that they want to improve, what are the most difficult. Also, I include some questions that is about what activities they prefer in speaking activity, in speaking class, how do they prefer to improve their writing. Maybe they want to write summaries, emails. So it helped me to adapt my content, my activities in based on their needs. Yeah. As you can see here, we have the most difficult skill. I asked them what is the most difficult skill, and as you can see here, we have 40% of students consider that listening is the most difficult skill. And also I ask what is the most useful skills, and as we can see here, we have 53% of students that consider writing. And also I ask them what are their favorite activities to improve their English, and they told me that prefer watching movies, listening to music, and all this information helped me to understand and analyze what are the suitable activities for them. Yeah. So I hope that you enjoyed this video until here. We are going to have part 2 of this video, so continue and keep watching. I hope to see you in the next video, and thank you. Until here, see you. Bye-bye.